and to be part of your community. So I'm the Market Development Manager at Education New Zealand. Education New Zealand is a New Zealand government organization, and the aim of Education New Zealand is to promote New Zealand as a study destination worldwide, to tell the New Zealand education story worldwide to students, parents, academics. And I'm based in Berlin, so not in New Zealand. We're in the same time zone. I'm with the New Zealand Embassy, and I'm looking after various countries in Europe, such as Italy, Germany, UK, France, Scandinavia, etc. And today I would like to tell you a little bit about New Zealand's education system, and particularly about the education by looking at it through the lens of Māori values and culture. So you will be aware that Māori are New Zealand's indigenous people, and I would like to share with you a little bit about some unique Māori concepts and ideas that are deeply ingrained in all of the New Zealand society, and of course also in the education system. And because this is such a unique thing, the Māori culture, you will only find it in New Zealand. So I thought that might be I hope you'll be interesting to find out more about that. So let me take you on this little journey. Okay, so kia ora, nā mai, haere mai, welcome to this session. New Zealand is an English-speaking country, but we also use the indigenous Māori language, which is called Te Reo Māori. And one important word is kia ora. As New Zealanders say, it's a small word with a big meaning. It means hello, be well, good health, thank you. So, and it's easy to pronounce, unlike many other words that you will see in the presentation. So, kia ora to you all. So, a map of New Zealand. Bring New Zealand on the map. This is something that we've heard as part of campaigns in the past. You know, there are a lot of world maps in the world, and some just cut New Zealand out. That does not make us very happy. Some say that New Zealand is at the bottom of the world, but that really depends on your perspective, on your point of view, I think. And New Zealand education encourages diversity, empathy, and certainly a fresh way of looking at the world, with New Zealand included. Today, the population of New Zealand is made up from a range of backgrounds. People from all kinds of countries live in New Zealand. 70% are Europeans or from European descent. 16% are Indigenous Māori. 15% are Asian. And 8% are non-Māori Pacific Islanders. And as stated at the beginning of my presentation, I would like to talk to you a little bit about the unique Māori values today and what it means for New Zealanders, for the society, and what it means for the education system. The concept of kaitiakitanga. So that's a Māori word and not that easy to pronounce. Kaitiakitanga. It involves respect and care for the natural environment and passing on a traditional knowledge for the benefit of future generations. And the New Zealand education institutions are very aware of the looming challenges associated with climate change, for example. Many of them have committed to sustainability by changing how they operate or by commissioning new research in different areas, such as sciences, law, and engineering. And this is, as I explained, rooted in the concept of Māori values, kaitiakitanga, protecting the world, protecting the people around you. In the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings of 2021, that rate universities around the world on their commitment to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, half of New Zealand's universities were placed in the top 100 globally. And the University of Auckland which is also the biggest university in New Zealand, was ranked number one for 2 consecutive years. So in 2019 and 2020, the University of Auckland ranked number one in those Times Higher Education Impact rankings. In New Zealand, we embrace the concept of manakitanga. Again, a Maori word, a Maori concept. And it's central to the Maori culture, and it means caring for a person's mana. Mana means identity or pride. And this means that providing an excellent student experience is a key part of our approach to welcoming international students. Now, I very much hope that we will soon be able to welcome international students again. When students come to New Zealand, schools or universities or English language schools have an important responsibility to ensure that those students are well informed, safe, and cared for. And to support this, New Zealand was the first country in the world to adopt a code of practice for the care of international students. And all institutions that host students from around the world have to sign this code. Now, New Zealand is a safe place to study, safe place to live, to work, to be, to study. New Zealand is ranked in the world's second most peaceful country out of 163 nations. And many people ask me when I give this presentation physically in the past, so what's number one? Which country is the safest in the world? And in case you don't know, it's Iceland. Top 3. New Zealand has a world-class education system and is ranked 3rd in the world for preparing students for the future. And among English-speaking countries, New Zealand is ranked number 1. And that was recognized by the Economist Intelligence Unit. So New Zealand ranked number 1 among English-speaking countries for preparing students for the future. And as the world looks to rebuild, it's more important than ever to think in new ways about how we live, how we play, how we study, how we work. And thinking innovatively and acting boldly starts within New Zealand's education system. We have a very inquiry-based model of teaching, and we encourage students to be critical thinkers, problem solvers, and lifelong learners. Students in New Zealand really work on, let's say, real-life projects or real-life problems and find real solutions for real problems. I would also like to add that New Zealand's Indigenous education system is also highly innovative, with the establishment of Māori education providers across all levels, from preschool to primary school to university institutions. And many other Indigenous peoples around the world have sought to learn from and copy these Māori models of education. So that is something that makes us very proud. We have 8 state-funded universities in New Zealand. Our universities rank in the world's top 100 in 65 subjects in the 2020 QS World Rankings. And the programs are research-led and generally academic rather than vocational. But we also have institutes of polytechnic and technology, and those institutes offer vocational training, if that is something of interest as well. So we have that too. Now I would like to talk a little bit about the Maori worldviews. And here, the first line you can see is in Maori, Te Reo Maori, but unfortunately I don't speak it. So I'm going to focus on the English translation. Look to the past in order to forge the future is a well-known Maori proverb. Before I talk a little bit more about that, I would just like to explain a little bit of the picture that you can see. It's a picture of a hongi. And a hongi is a traditional Maori greeting expressed by 2 people pressing their noses together. The greeting is used at traditional meetings or at ceremonies by Maori people. And according to the Maori culture and values, people see themselves as the guardians of the present who have a responsibility to protect the environment for future generations. And this also leads me to an important point, namely that of sustainability and what New Zealand does in this space and how we at Education New Zealand inform our stakeholders and all people interested in New Zealand around the world what New Zealand's contribution is to making the world more sustainable. So here I would like to just mention that at Education New Zealand, we run a series of webinars that we call Korerorero. Korerorero is a Maori word and it means conversations that matter. And our latest episode was about sustainability in Aotearoa, New Zealand, through the lens of Maori values and culture. So Aotearoa is the Maori name for New Zealand. Aotearoa means the country of the white long cloud. And in this session, I'm inviting you to watch it if you have time. It's a highly interesting session about, let me just say, it has 4 top-level experts. They're all New Zealanders, they're all Maori, and they all discuss how, from a Maori perspective, what New Zealand does to make New Zealand and the world more sustainable. Yeah, so you'll find it on. I'm just realizing I haven't included a link, but I'll see if I can put it in the chat later on, so you can find it. So something that we've done for students in terms of sustainability is we partnered with Future Learn. It's an online social learning platform, and Education New Zealand offers a selection of short courses for learners around the world. And most of these short courses have a very strong focus on sustainability. So students can choose courses from New Zealand universities, from English language schools, from institutes of technology and polytechnics, edtech providers, including virtual reality developers and game designers. So a range of providers, a range of creative institutions will offer courses on this platform. They're online, they're for free, and students can choose, for example, I have included 4 just examples: design thinking for sustainable development, or leading sustainable communities and organizations, etc., etc. So all courses and students, through these courses, students can get a taste of what it's like studying at a New Zealand institution. We are also working on a sustainability guide. It will be finished most likely in early September and will be found on our website, studyingnewzealand.govt.nz. You will find it at the end of the slide. So the sustainability guide is aimed at university students and academics. It provides information on New Zealand, its education system, history of Māori, and Māori worldviews. It features a wide range of study programs in the field of sustainability in particular, and introduces Māori scientists and sustainability-related research. And I would like to conclude this presentation. Again, it's a Maori proverb, but I'm going to stick to the English one. As people disappear from sight, the land remains. And this proverb in Maori, whakatakui, speaks to the importance of permanence of the earth. While people come and go, the land remains. As humans, we rely on the land. We must think long term and see the big picture to ensure the sustainability of our natural environment. Thank you very much. This was a brief introduction to New Zealand, to the Indigenous culture and values, and I hope I could raise a little more interest. So please take a look at our website and find more information if you like. Please contact me if you'd like to have more information, or if you'd like to get in touch with New Zealand universities. We're very open for collaboration, for partnership, and I'm based here, as I said, in Europe, to build a bridge to my colleagues in New Zealand. Thank you very much. Kia ora.
Kia ora to you. It was nice to learn a new word. So we will be able to use it in the future conferences when we meet new people. And thank you for interesting presentation, also for the links and information provided and related to the online course. So personally, I will try to enter to one or two, as I saw topics are really invited, and then maybe I will be able to understand better how the education is in New Zealand, how do you educate, and to compare with the education in Europe. So thank you very much. And our conference is going to the end, but let's see if we have the questions from our participants. Yeah, it's nice words coming to you. Olga, you are an attractive presenter. Kia ora. Thank you very much. Great presentation. Yeah, it was really good presentation and really on the good time at the end of our session. It was calm and inviting. So the question is, what is the percentage of Maori students in universities? There exist some special laws and infamous quotas. Probably you talked about this. Yeah, probably you didn't, so maybe you can.
Yeah, that's a very good question, and I'm afraid I can't tell you an exact percentage. What I can say is that the New Zealand government, of course, there are many Maori students who study and pursue higher education, but the New Zealand government is working hard to increase this number. It's still at a minority, I have to say. So the New Zealand government does a lot to encourage Maori students from Maori communities, from Pacifica communities, to pursue a higher education. The fact is that students who come from a Europe descent, that is the majority of domestic students. But what the percentage is, it's probably something like 70-30. I would guess, but we're
not so bad. Not so bad.
Not so bad at all. But always, we can always do more.
Yeah.
Working on diversity, working on inclusion. Those are big priorities for New Zealand, for the New Zealand government, and actually the New Zealand's Prime Minister. Prime Minister Mahuta, she was elected just at the end of last year. She is herself a Maori, and it's a very big priority for her time in the legislation in Parliament to do whatever she can to increase Maori students going to university. So again, I think it's a wonderful step to have a Maori a representative at the government, as a foreign minister, and so we will see many steps in the future that will encourage this process.
Yeah. I also wish and hope that your words will come true. And okay, it was a refreshing presentation. Again, thanks goes to you, Olga. My younger son plays rugby. All Blacks are one of his role models. Thanks a lot. So
very good.
Sharing good impressions. Yeah. Okay, and as the final wish, let's say, what would you like to wish for future generation?
Many things.
The most important, let's say, the first which comes to your mind.
Really, the first word was more compassion. Just taking care of each other more.
Yeah.
I think just somehow this word just was in my mind. Just compassion. Look after each other.
Yeah. That's very nice, especially in this difficult period, difficult time when we have. So it's really nice wish. Okay, thank you very much for all of you. It was really nice to moderate this session, to be part of it, to participate in future